What's up, peeps? How y'all doing?
How are you?
Good.
Everything okay after the storm and everything?
Yeah, everything came out great. Thank you for asking.
Well, you know, these guys want to run it and run it a lot, right?
And very hard-headed about it. So, that's the thing when you look at them, what you see in this league, a lot of offensive linemen, tackles up in two-point stances. And when you look at them, everybody down in three-point stances, and they're coming off, and they're doing a pretty good job of it. What's kind of amazing is you look back up and getting ready to play for them. Last year, they finished 31st in the league in rushing offense, and right now they're 4th. So you can see what they committed to in the offseason.
So much of the focus was on Patterson, but it looks like the guys behind him have been just as effective. What are your thoughts on those guys?
Well, they had a 1-2 and what we say a 2 and 3 punch because they keep running the same plays. It'd be different if you said Patterson, we run these plays. With Algiers, we run these plays with 40. They all running the same plays and they getting downhill. What's amazing is when you look at third down, there's not a whole lot of them because they converting a lot on first and second down. And third down is very manageable because it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. So they're staying ahead of the sticks and they're doing an outstanding job.
We talked about the slow start 2 weeks ago for the defense, specifically the defensive line with the running game. Last week wasn't very much better. What have you seen? On tape? What needs to be fixed, corrected?
Everything from just one getting off blocks better, everybody fitting the way we need to be, and we just need to play a heck of a lot better than we've been playing.
Is that something that's easy to fix, easy to change from 1 week?
Easy to think. It's just go back to fundamentals, playing together, and it's what happens if one guy's wrong here, then it snowballs. We just all got to get on the same page and get 11 hats to the ball.
Do they do anything schematically that's a little different or unique at all as far as their run game goes?
Their run game is primarily inside-outside zone. The good thing about it, everybody's going together. They're all on the same page. So a lot of people try to stunt and everything. Well, the zone sucks it all up. So and they do a good job. They're really running off the ball, and they're getting pushed, and the backs are hitting it downhill. And you look at a lot of them. When you watch their games, look how many 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4s. They're coming downhill. Then you throw in the quarterback running element. So that's there you go. He booting. If it ain't there, he's taking off. Then they also have the zone read element. So you add this up. You got 80 from the running backs. You got 40 from him. You got 30. Next thing you know, you got 150, 60 yards rushing, and that's where they want to be.
So your eyes, the linebackers have a lot to watch, right?
No question, because they had the flashes and the jets with the receivers coming across. Then you got the inside zone. Then you got the quarterback keeping it out here. It's a nightmare.
Speaking of, you mentioned the bootlegs and stuff, just the changes that you've seen in the Falcons offense now that they have Marcus Mariota. He's moving around constantly.
It's funny you should say, Jenna. It looked like, from our standpoint, we look at him, look like he is faster than we saw him before. And he is really moving them with this play action to get the running game going. So it opens up the play action to get him on the perimeter. If it ain't there, he takes off. And then the play action pass, and the routes are so deep. If he gets out, he's running for a while. It's a very problematic scheme because when you look at it, it's like they blocking him up. They're not letting him get hit, so they block him up. And the routes, they take the top off with these spear routes and these deep overs and buying a lot of time for him. And he's doing a heck of a job running their offense.
How much of a challenge is it going from 2 quarterbacks and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes where they're moving all around the field, slinging it,
Right.
whereas Marcus Mariota, he's moving around, but in a different way, and it's often with his legs. Just kind of the difference in how you kind of approach, those types of quarterbacks that are throwing so much on the run versus, what Marcus does.
With Marcus, his pocket is constantly moving, whether they sprinting him out, they rolling him, then they will drop him back in, throw it deep. But the pocket is constantly moving, but then you got the threat of the option game. That is always a problem. So every defense you call, you got to make sure who's on the quarterback, who's on the pitch, then stop the inside zone. So their scheme really creates a lot of problems.
You were a player and you played on a lot of good defenses. This team had given up 27 points in the first 3 games. They gave up 28 in the first half, right?
Right.
When you have those games, and every team seems to have them at some point.
Right.
What's the mentality of the group? How do you bounce back from something like that? How do you keep from losing confidence?
Well, here, first of all, Todd has a 24-hour rule, so we put it to bed and we put it to rest and move on. And like I told the guys, sometimes the bear gets you and sometimes you get the bear, so you got to move on. This is the National Football League. It's a lot of great players. People have their day. What we got to do is work on getting better and going on to the next one.
For this run defense, obviously you guys gave up more yards and gave up more first-down yards than you wanted to Sunday.
Right.
How how much more would you rather have a test like this where you're going up against another top 5 run offense to
Well-
show they can be different?
Well, the good thing about it is, one, we have another challenge this weekend. They're very hard-headed about running the ball, so it'll be a good test for us because they want to come off and push, and that's what they want to do. There's no question. They've 35, 40 times. If I'm not mistaken, the Cleveland game, they ran it 14 straight times during it. Now, that's hard now. Just thinking, I told the guys when we were looking at it from the mentality, just think here, they're running. You know they're running, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's the most demoralizing thing you can happen to you in football. So that's what we're getting into this Sunday.
Look at that offensive line, how they improved from last year. Last year they really struggled, but
Right.
they're running the ball well, pass protection. What have you seen out of that? And where
Well,
are you attacking?
the thing with it is just like continuity. This is like year 2, 3, and for them in the same system. You go back and look at the year before in the past, they were running the same stuff, but now you add in the quarterback running element. But they still been running the scheme, and they just doing it a heck of a lot better. They're doing a great job, they really are.
I know you guys aren't in the business of making excuses, and
No.
last week was last week, and this week is this week, but looking back, especially now that you're back into your routine and your rhythm, just
Right.
how much of a difference could you feel last week versus this week in terms of game preparation, when suddenly you're having to worry about a lot of non-football things?
Well, really, for us, the standpoint, everything going on, we have to go do a job. And last week we didn't get it done, so we just got to move on and go from there.
Do coaches move on like that, Casey? They're the same way? I mean, do you?
Yes, we have to. You have no choice. It's such a long season. Hey, put it to bed, move on to the next one.
Offensive it looks like Vita Day has struggled a little bit this season. We talked about technique, fundamentals. What does he need to do to get back to that dominant, disruptive force?
Just get back to playing his game and not trying to do too much. Just do what he's asked to do, and his natural ability will take over from there.
Is there something that he's trying to do extra, maybe trying to fill a void?
No, it's just with this and that. It just really he just has to play better. No excuse for him. He knows it and he wants to, and he'll fix it.
Is that some of it a function of not having Akeem Hicks there with him, a guy that he practiced with throughout camp?
No, not at all. It's part just him just keep working on it, getting back to the level we expect him to play it.
What about Logan Hall? Obviously his snaps have increased. Same thing with Nacho. What have you
Right.
seen out of those guys in the last couple of games?
Actually, those guys have stepped up. Actually, Logan actually should have played more in the game, hindsight 2020, than we played him. But looking at the way the game was unfolding, I probably did him injustice by not putting him in there more. We expect a lot out of him. And Nacho, a couple of years ago, he stepped in for us and filled in adamantly. But now we're moving him all around, and he should step up. He will do the job. We have no problem with what
This
he'll.
team hasn't had 2 losses consecutively very often over the last few years. Just how important it is this week for you guys to get back on track, getting back to doing what you do best, stopping the run, getting back to kind of finding, their identity on offense. Just how important is this week to kind of, I guess, stopping the bleeding?
Well, for us to look at it, one, it's the next game, so that's the most important. And then it's a division game. We're battling for first in the division, so that makes it even more important. And for us, we just want to play a team game.
Do you feel like the guys in the locker room, obviously the running game has been something that's been an issue the last couple of games. Do you feel like maybe you might need to look outside the organization for some help, or do you have full confidence in the guys?
No, we have total confidence in the guy in this building to get everything fixed and corrected.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. See you guys later.
Appreciate it.